Hello everyone and welcome back to another Aotu World video. Today I'm gonna be making a list or maybe presenting a list, a tier list more specifically about Warchess. Like it's specifically about Warchess. Before I start talking about the characters, I want to quickly apologize for not uploading. It's just that, as I said in the last video, I have really no time to play the game. Like, I only have enough time to log in, get my daily rewards, and then do the tower, like auto the tower, and then just close the game again. I will try making this video like faster than the last tier list, while also like briefly explaining why certain characters are in the positions that they are. I made a video like 4 hours ago, and for like 4 hours I actually tried to save the video, edited, but I just couldn't, so I gave up and I'm gonna make another one. So let's start with the tier list. Also, before I actually start, quick disclaimer: collaboration characters are not in because they're kind of new and there's just not enough data, there's not enough info. Same for Fox and Rhina, or however you pronounce the name, I don't know. So these characters are not in the list. I will update the list in like maybe a week or maybe 2 weeks, because I need to see like how good they are. Onto the list now. Let's start off with the E tier. Lorette. I have heard that, and I tried her myself, and I have also heard and I also feel that she's very underwhelming. She's only like pure damage dealer, and it's also single target, and she just doesn't do enough. Like, if you want a single target damage dealer, why not just use Ambitious or like pretty much any character above? So yeah, Lorette, really not good. Dragoon is not too bad of a character, but he's just a worse version of Gray. He's like the free-to-play version, and Gray is pretty garbage. So that's also the reason why I put him so low. He doesn't do enough in Warchess to actually be good. Negi and Red. These two are pretty bad actually. I really had like some hope, and I kind of wished that they were better, but they're really not good. They just don't do enough. Red is just a damage dealer that also has like a self-sustain. I think, I'm not sure, but nobody uses him. You see him nowhere, and he's just not effective. Negi has a cleanse, and that's pretty much everything he does. Cleanse and some damage, which, yeah, it's just nowhere near enough. And that's with the E tier. On to the D tier. Mellie is actually, she's not too bad, but she also is pretty bad. Simply because the only good thing that she has on her kit is her meta skill, which decreases the cooldowns. That is like her entire kit. The rest is just damage, and it's pretty bad damage. She's just not that good. Emmy needs to be controlled when it comes to movement, because he does good damage, but he also dispositions your opponent. And if you put them in a position that benefits the opponent, like let's say you push away their damage dealers, then that's bad. You're technically just helping your opponent. So you will need to actually move smart with Emmy, and in Warchess you cannot move. It's just automatic. So yeah, that kind of kills him. He does good damage, but he also needs to be low on HP. And if he's low on HP, then your opponent can just execute him. So, not really good. Next is Abby. Abby is bad because, first of all, she she kind of needs Emmy for the extra crit rate, but Hakis exists. Like, even with the extra crit rate, Hakis is just way better for Warchess than Abby. That's why she's so low, because you would never want to use Abby if you have Hakis. That's for Abby. Next one is Ready. Ready, I'm not sure. All I know about Ready is that she's just garbage. Huh? I'm just kidding. She's fucking garbage. She just does damage and she decreases physical defense, my bad. And she also has her lethal, which she spawns a clone. And then she can teleport to the clone and do AoE damage. Not really good enough. Like, she's just a damage dealer, and for damage dealers there are just so many characters that do that job better. Next one on the list is Robbie, I think her name is. Yeah, Robbie. She has good heals. I think she's even better than Lemon when it comes to just healing. I mean, yeah, she obviously is. But she's not really good for Warchess, because you need to position yourself. Like, the entire thing about Robbie is positioning. If you cannot position yourself well enough, then she is garbage. Therefore, in Warchess, since you cannot actually position your things however you want and however it's gonna benefit you, then yeah, she's kind of ducked, pretty much. King, just a damage dealer, nothing special. Like, he has literally nothing special. He also pushes like enemies away, but that's all. And he does like some AoE damage. They're way better snipers than King for long range, and they're also way better AoE damage dealers for AoE, I guess, long and short range. So he's not really that good. Gray needs a buff in general, not only in Warchess. He needs buff, like, in general. Like, please buff Gray. He's really bad. He's a tank that has two of his skills as nuking skills. Like, his lethal and his meta skill are nuking, but all of his three passives are for tanks, and his stats are for tanks. So what the F is he? He's just not that good. He doesn't do good enough damage, and as a sustain, as a tank, you would just be way better to use like Camel. Like, if you have Camel, there's no reason you want to use Gray over him. Maybe you want to use them together, but I would even use Pele than Gray. Gray's really bad. Next one is Raid. Raid is a bit weird because I haven't seen anyone use Raid. I'm pretty sure he's actually not that bad, but I cannot really say too much about him. I think he also requires a bit of positioning to work effectively, but yeah, he's just good. Like, positioning is not so much of a problem. He does enough stuff to be a viable character in my opinion, even though I see no one use him. Next one is Lemon. Lemon is... she's okay. She has long range heal with shields, and her lethal is also shield. The problem is that, would you really want a shield in Warchess? Then, for example, use like even God Rose is lethal, or Mishas is lethal. That's the problem. Like, most of these characters need like stronger meta skills or stronger lethal skills to be effective. If you look up, like on the top of the tier list, you only see characters that have good meta skills or lethal skills, because meta is like, you cannot just spend it whatever you want. It's rare and you need it to actually do skills. Alright, next one. Phantom. Phantom is pretty similar to Lemon. He has heal on his basic attack, but he actually needs to get close range. His second skill, the attack buff, is not really good enough compared to Lemon. Lemon has a way better meta skill. But Shadow actually has a somewhat useful lethal skill because the minion that he summons is actually pretty tanky. And it generally has good stats. But besides that, he's not like anything crazy. He's just usable for Warchess. Next one is Pele. Some people might be pissed because even in the last tier list, Pele was pretty low. And in this one, he is still pretty low. I love Pele. I really like this guy, but I don't really think he's good in any way. He's kind of like a frontliner that has a good amount of self-sustain. Pretty similar to Gray, only though that Pele does a lot more damage than Gray. Gray can do damage, but it's not consistent. It's more like burst damage that doesn't really do enough damage to be even burst with his lethal. Compared to Pele, where he does okay AoE damage, he has good leech, he has also self buff. So yeah, I think Pele is way better than Gray, but he's still not good enough. Like that's how bad Gray is. Like Pele is just way better than him, but he's still garbage. Next one is Strange. Strange is actually strange. Okay, shut the fuck up. I'm sorry. Strange is just not good. He's really bad. The only reason that he is in that position is because of Oddball. Oddball pushes this guy to whatever rank he is right now. Like, if Oddball didn't exist, Strange might even be in a tier of his own below Negi and Red. Like, that's how bad Strange actually is. He's really not that good. Oddball, though, pushes him up because he provides some protection and all of that good stuff. And because of Oddball's passives, you kind of want to use these two together. You can get away by using Oddball by himself, but you still miss on quite some stuff. Like quite some benefits like the heal and I think shield or damage reduction. I don't remember. Palos. Palos is not really that good for Warchess. The only thing that carries him is the RNG factor that he has on his lethal and his second passive. By the way, he's just my favorite character, but that's not the reason why I put him over here. The reason why I put him this high up is because if you are lucky enough, Palos can be the most annoying character to actually deal with, because if you let him stack his clones, like if you let him regenerate enough clones, he will end up having like more than 50% dodge rate, meaning that if someone is lucky enough, that 50% will proc a lot. And imagine like using Ambitious and Palos is their frontliner, your opponent's frontliner, and you just keep missing. You're just docked in that position. So Palos can be very annoying, but you have to rely on luck, which kind of kills him. Besides that, he doesn't really do enough for Warchess. Generally, he's okay character, nice. In Warchess, he's not that nice, but if you are lucky, he's very nice. Like, he can work like a charm. So, yeah, that's that. Next one is Kayle. I'm debating whether Kayle should be in B or in C. I think C is more suited for her, because Kayle has the mechanic of Mist, which you can just stack a lot of attack buffs and then completely nuke something. But the problem with that is that you actually need a lot of meta. And as I said earlier, gaining meta is not that easy. And you also really need meta to use for stuff in general, like save or snipe stuff. So, the only reason why I put her on B is because her first skill, the meta skill, can actually stack. And she can do like 4,000, 5,000 damage, which is quite a lot. Next one is Hakis. I said Hakis is better than Abby, and I stand by that like completely. Because Hakis has more range due to his meta skill, which also his meta skill is very strong and very cheap. And you can use that all the time. Which basically like lets you stay in your spawn in the backline and you can still hit their backline from your own backline. Like that's how huge his range is. Very strong. Like he's very strong. He also ignores a portion of magical defense, which is pretty nice. And his lethal is not really that good. So yeah. But he does a lot of damage. He does a lot more damage than Abby. And Abby also needs Emmy in the team to like unlock her full potential. While Hakis doesn't need that. Which is why Hakis is way better than Abby. And he's very good in general. Next character is God Rose. In my last tier list, which I'm gonna show at the end, God Rose was actually very low because I thought that you could not control the character's skills. I found out that you can control them though, and I remade the entire tier list. That happened like a week ago, which is why I didn't rush a Warchess video for views or whatever. Simply because I just wanted to make it accurate. So now that I found out that you can actually use meta skills and lethals, Godor is actually pretty nice. He does good damage and he also has some form of CC and sustainability. Although if I had Ray, I would not use God Rose instead of Ray. And I will explain why in a bit. ZUMA, I don't have much to say about ZUMA actually. I know that she is a very versatile character that really enables the rest of your team. More than that, I cannot really say anything more than that. Maybe she's B, maybe she's high C. But problem is that I need more time, and I think everyone in the game really needs more time to actually fully understand some characters, which is why I don't really have much to say about ZUMA. Maybe ZUMA should be in like an unknown tier, meaning that I don't really know where to place her. But people have told me that she's good. That's why I place her so high up. Ray is incredible. I usually don't favor characters that are linear, meaning that they just do something very specific. But Ray and Mist are really broken because they just do burst damage, which burst damage should be like single target, but they actually do it on AoE. Like Ray is currently the best cleaver in the game. If you don't know what cleaver is, it's basically like you do AoE damage and you kill everything with like one hit or two, I don't know. And yeah, Ray is just incredible. He does incredible AoE damage. Problem is, he has no CC and he doesn't have self-sustain from what I recall. I could be wrong, but even if I am wrong, he's still in the same tier. Because the characters above Ray are just on a different league. Maybe Camel should be on A. Maybe, yeah. I think Camel should be on A. Camel is actually like, I thought he was bad. Like I got him and he just didn't do enough. And I was a bit depressed because I really liked him, but he was just not good enough. I found out that he's actually very good. Like he is maybe the most versatile character together with ZUMA, because he can act as a support, meaning that he will just buff your entire team and also buff his own attack, meaning that he will also do good damage. Or he can act as a tank with his lethal. and no matter what you choose, he will still do okay damage, and he will still be able to take a good amount of damage. Which is why, in my opinion, CAMPBELL is like one of the better characters. Maybe not one of the best characters. Actually, he's 4th on the list. So maybe you can say that he's one of the best characters to actually bring on Warchess. And I use him, and I really enjoy him. Next one is Mist. Mist is bad. The only thing though that just boosts him to A is his meta skill, in which he just suicides basically. He eats his entire life. I mean, if you spam it, it does eat his entire life. And then he does an insane attack. Like, if he actually like lands on a special attack, he can do AoE damage like up to 3 targets and kill all 3 of them. Like, that's how much damage he can do. If he doesn't land on a special attack, by the way, his special also has leech, meaning that he will go back to full HP, or at least like pretty high HP. If he doesn't land on special attack, he will definitely snipe something, meaning that Mist is very strong. He's almost broken. The only problem with him is that if you choose to go with that tactic, someone can actually just execute you. Like, your opponent can easily like just press execute and snipe your Mist before he actually does something, because he brings his own HP low. So that's all about Mist. Next character is ODDBALL. ODDBALL is completely broken. He needs a nerf ASAP, together with Ambitious. Both of them really need a nerf. ODDBALL can do like 2000 damage as a tank, or even higher, while he can also sustain around like 10,000 damage from attacks. He has damage reduction, huge amount of damage reduction, and he produces a shield for himself with low meta cost. This guy is just, he's crazy. And he also heals himself by, I think, 10 to 15% HP. I'm not sure about that one. But you need Strange to be there, which is why he boosts Strange, because you actually want to use them together. Last one is Ambitious. Ambitious is broken and he needs a nerf. Like, this guy really needs a nerf. He gets 2 turns every turn, and he does around 2000 to 2500 damage with every attack. If that's not broken, then I don't know what broken means. You can also empower him with physical attack and movement speed, meaning that he can literally walk up to your backline and just start like one-shotting everything in the backline, which is why he's just so broken. The guy that was rank 1 in Warchess in my leaderboards, he actually told me that he built an entire team around Ambitious. An entire team to just make sure Ambitious stays alive and does his job. Like, that's how broken he is. So yeah, I think I did justice to most of the characters. Some characters are a bit lower than they should be, some other are a bit higher than they should be. But I think this is like probably the most accurate tier list you can find specifically for Warchess. That's all I had to say about the list, and here is how my older tier list actually looked like. So as you can see, there are some pretty big differences, like Strange being on the same tier as Ambitious, Hakis being a bit too high, or like maybe outmatching the rest of the characters, Gray being a bit too high, Mist being a bit too low, and CAMPBELL maybe being a bit too low. Of course, like, these are just some of the differences. There are also some other major differences in the two lists. Oof, Alright, B, the video was almost 25 minutes. I wanted to be exactly 25 minutes, but oh well, it is what it is. Again, I want to apologize for not uploading any videos. It's just that I really don't have any time. Besides that, thanks a lot for watching. Huge thanks to the people that actually consistently watch my videos. I greatly appreciate it. And have a nice day, have a nice night. Bon appetites. I don't know what time it is there, I don't know what you're doing. And yeah, that's all. See you in the next one.